You're standing on the Embarcadero. An aircraft carrier is moored 50 yards behind you. The sirens start. Not the rolling test tone, not the Tuesday drill. This one is continuous, flat, and something inside your chest already knows. You have approximately 3 minutes. Move. This is not a hypothetical. Pacific Command analysts have gamed it. Congressional Defense Staff have gamed it. Planners inside the People's Liberation Army Rocket Force have gamed it with far more resources than either. The Wall Street Journal reported in December 2025 that U.S. military experts assessed the DF-17 hypersonic system would be deployed against American military targets at the opening phase of a Taiwan conflict. I was watching those same assessments at the classified level years before they reached print. Their conclusions match everything I tracked on radar in northern Iraq and on THAAD fire control screens in the Negev. Naval Base San Diego is the largest naval station on the U.S. West Coast. Over 60 surface ships homeported there. Carriers, destroyers, amphibious assault vessels. By every military calculus that exists, it is a primary first strike target, not secondary, primary. And the city surrounding it? Collateral geometry. In this war game, Beijing has moved on Taiwan. The first operational requirement is to destroy Pacific Fleet response time before a single American ship can leave port. PLA submarines pre-positioned in the Eastern Pacific in the days prior have approached within strike range. The mobile DF-17 launchers are hot. The order comes through. This is not a question of if. This is the math finally running out. Here is what is inbound. The DF-17 is a solid-fueled, road-mobile ballistic missile mated to the DF-ZF hypersonic glide vehicle. Solid-fueled matters. In Erbil, I tracked older Iraqi and Iranian systems that needed hours of liquid propellant loading before launch. Hours that handed us a detection window, a targeting window, a decision window. The DF-17 has none of that. It sits fully armed on a transporter erector launcher. It receives an order. It fires in minutes. No countdown visible to satellites. No preparation plume. The booster burns. The DF-ZF separates at apogee. And then something the entire architecture of American missile defense was never designed to handle begins. It does not follow a ballistic arc. Every intercept system ever deployed, Patriot, THAAD, Aegis SM-3, those systems rest on a single mathematical assumption: the incoming object follows a predictable parabolic trajectory. Calculate the arc, extrapolate the intercept point, fire. The DF-ZF deletes that assumption entirely. After separation, the glide vehicle executes wave-rider flight. Its wedge-shaped body generates aerodynamic lift by riding its own compressed shockwave. It skips along the atmospheric boundary, adjusting pitch and yaw, maneuvering in 3 dimensions at will. Too low for exoatmospheric systems like the SM-3, which require the target to still be above the atmosphere to engage. Too fast and too unpredictable for terminal phase systems like THAAD and Patriot to generate a clean fire solution before it is through their engagement envelope and the ships in the harbor. Their phalanx CIWS and RAM launchers are point defense systems engineered to kill subsonic cruise missiles and anti-ship drones at close range against a target traveling at Mach 5 or greater on a non-ballistic terminal approach below the radar horizon. Their engagement timelines collapse to fractions of a second, which is not an engagement timeline. It is a eulogy. Peak velocity, Mach 10. 3 kilometers every single second. Terminal approach, Mach 5 to Mach 7. At that speed, the plasma sheath generated around the glide vehicle degrades its own radar return. Ionized gas disrupts the tracking data interceptors require to lock on. The weapon is, in its terminal phase, partially self-obscuring. Travel time from a Pacific launch point to Naval Base San Diego, under 7 minutes. Radar detection window, accounting for the DF-ZF's low-altitude glide profile and active maneuvering, 3 to 4 minutes maximum. That is your entire early warning timeline. Not a political failure, not a budget failure. Physics. Its warhead payload is not publicly confirmed, classified. But at Mach 5 terminal velocity, the kinetic energy alone delivered on impact, before any explosive detonation, is sufficient to collapse reinforced concrete. The pressure wave arrives before the sound, before the fireball, before you process what is happening, and before the structure around you fails. That same overpressure wave passes through your body. It ruptures alveolar tissue in your lungs, detonates your eardrums, and collapses sinus cavities at distances where you will feel no heat, see no fire, and have no warning at all. Now look at the city. San Diego's skyline is a product of FAA height restrictions. Buildings capped near 500 feet because of San Diego International Airport. The downtown core is compact, dense, and wrapped in glass curtain wall facades. One America Plaza. The Manchester Grand Hyatt towers along the waterfront. Modern high-rises from Harbor Drive east through the Gaslamp Quarter to East Village. Dozens of glass-sheathed structures within a few square miles of the base perimeter. A Mach 10 approach generates not one sonic boom. Multiple overlapping shockwaves arrive in sequence. The glass on every curtain wall building in downtown San Diego does not shatter. It disintegrates. Each pane becomes a projectile moving at hundreds of meters per second parallel to the street. The secondary casualty radius from glass fragmentation alone extends 3 to 4 city blocks in every direction. You do not need to be at ground zero. You need only to be inside a glass-clad building when those waves arrive. The Coronado Bridge. 2.1 miles of pre-stressed concrete and steel orthotropic box girder construction sitting on 30 concrete tower piers anchored into the bay floor. 200 feet of vertical clearance, built that height so carriers could transit to open ocean. The U.S. Navy opposed that bridge in 1935 for one reason. They calculated a collapsed span would trap the fleet inside the bay. A kinetic strike near the I-5 approach introduces structural loads no 1960s civil engineering was designed to absorb. The crossing fails. The ships are bottled. The resupply corridor to Naval Air Station North Island on Coronado is severed. The base is operationally isolated before the dust settles. Your air defense layer, the Aegis Sea-based Terminal Increment 3 upgrade, conducted a tracking simulation in March 2025. A simulation. The USS Pinckney tracked a representative hypersonic target vehicle and executed a simulated SM-6 engagement. The Glide Phase Interceptor, the system actually designed to kill an HGV in flight, has a projected delivery date of 2034. There is no operational, continuously deployed hypersonic defense system protecting the U.S. West Coast today. THAAD? In the June 2025 exchange with Iran, my former colleagues expended over 150 THAAD interceptors, approximately 25% of the entire funded U.S. inventory in a single conflict. Those batteries are not stationed in Southern California for homeland defense. NORAD's intercept architecture was built for ballistic re-entry vehicles on predictable arcs. It was not built for a weapon that maneuvers through its terminal phase at Mach 6 while generating its own radar interference. The city is not covered, except that now. Phase 1. The first 3 minutes. The moment that alert tone goes continuous. Assess position immediately. Embarcadero. Harbor Drive. Within half a mile of the base entrance. You are inside the primary overpressure and fragmentation zone. Move. Inside any glass facade building, do not shelter in place. Move away from exterior windows. Find the building's concrete core. Emergency stairwells, interior elevator shafts, reinforced concrete, get to it, get low. Underground beats everything, Gaslamp Quarter, East Village, commercial parking structures, level B2 or lower, 2 reinforced concrete slabs above your head minimum. That is your best case position. Wood frame residential, the majority of San Diego's housing stock, absorbs nothing from a pressure wave. It passes through the structure as if the structure does not exist. Ground level concrete foundation slab. Interior load-bearing wall. Face down, hands over the back of your neck. Low is alive. Phase 2. After the strike. I-5 is not an evacuation route. Understand that completely before you take a single step. Within 8 minutes of confirmed impact, I-5 becomes a compression corridor of stationary vehicles, ruptured fuel lines, and secondary ordnance cook-off from the base perimeter. No lanes, no movement. Every person who drives toward that freeway is making the last navigational decision of their life. The overpass structures along the I-5 corridor near downtown are unreinforced concrete from the 1960s. In a significant overpressure event, sections fail. You will not be caught in traffic. You will be buried under it. Military facilities taking kinetic strikes generate toxic secondary fires, jet fuel storage, ordnance cook-off, industrial chemical release. San Diego's prevailing coastal wind runs northwest to southeast, onshore west to east. Combustion byproducts move inland, northeast of the impact corridor, east, not west, not south, east, Washington Street, Adams Avenue, University Avenue, surface arterials perpendicular to the impact corridor, on foot or motorcycle. Not in a vehicle you cannot abandon in 4 seconds. First 60 minutes, do not attempt distance movement. Secondary fires, gas line failures, structural collapses, that window is the most lethal. Move only to reach reinforced cover or clear the fragmentation zone. After 60 minutes, Mission Valley, El Cajon, secondary roads through the Inland Empire. Los Angeles is 120 miles north. Without I-5, that route takes days on surface highways. Plan for that. Drink nothing from open sources near the strike zone. Do not approach the naval facility perimeter. I was removed from command because I applied a single equation consistently. A civilian body under falling concrete has the same mass, the same fragility, and the same value, regardless of the coordinates it occupies. The Pentagon does not have a problem with that as philosophy. They have a problem with it when a THAAD commander says it on record, while the political machinery requires the opposite conclusion. That is not a moral argument. It is an institutional incompatibility. They resolved the incompatibility. I was the variable they eliminated. I am not interested in their institutional logic. I am interested in yours. The intercept chain is not ready for what is coming. The glide vehicle does not negotiate. It only cares about coordinates. Make sure you are not at them.